Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Lisa with the Hardwood Forest and I am the artist back here doing all of these wonderful felt crafts and felt flowers, and I mean they're amazing and they bring me joy. So I want to bring joy to you. So let's make a felt flower bouquet together. All right, so today we are gonna go ahead and make this adorable little bouquet. It's got a little bit of something of everything, but it's just a complete set that you can throw on your desk, in your kitchen, in your nursery, in your bedroom, wherever you want, but at least it's a full set of different flowers so you can create it yourself and then it's ready to go. I sell these kits in two different versions in my shop, link below. So be sure to buy the set first so that way you can walk through building this entire bouquet with me today. So we have two different ways you can buy the kit. We have the hand cut version or the pre-cut version. So right now I'm gonna go over the hand cut version. So each kit comes with an instruction sheet so that you know exactly what to do and follow along on there, or you can just watch this handy dandy video. It's gonna come with all of your felt colors that you need. We've got two shades of green, we've got the blue, the white daisies, and then the blue for the hydrangea and the pink for the chrysanthemum. So on the hand cut kit, it's also gonna come with freezer paper stencils. So this is what you're going to iron onto your felt, which I'll show you in a minute, on how to hand cut them out with a perfect stencil every time. That way you don't have to overthink things either. So you'll get all that. You're gonna get all of the wire that you need. It comes with some 18 gauge wire, which is gonna be the base for your flowers. And then it's also gonna come with some 22 gauge wire, which is kind of like the support wire for leaves and different petals. Next, you're gonna get our 5 of the small felt balls, and these are gonna be our daisy centers. You're gonna get 2 larger felt balls for your billy balls, and then 1 more almond colored felt ball, and this is literally just the center base for the chrysanthemum. So for your pre-cut kit, it's going to come with this exact same setup as well. We're just gonna take out the stencils and the felt sheet, and instead you're gonna get 2 of the larger leaves, 6 of your long leaves, 10 daisy petals, 8 chrysanthemum petals, and 24 of your hydrangea petals. Let's chat about what tools you need to make all of this stuff from home. These are the tools that are not included in the kit that you're just gonna have to have on hand. I'm gonna go ahead and link below all of the tools that I'm using too, so that way if you're missing something, go ahead and get that tool ahead of time, so that way when your kit arrives or if you're starting to do it, then you can have it ready to go. I always have a pair of needle nose pliers, and they're also include a little wire cutter right in the back here. So it's a multi-tool, can manipulate wires with the top and then trim and cut them here. The Irwin Vice Grip needle nose are my favorite. Next, we've got a big long pair of shears, and this is perfect for hand cutting out all of your pieces. Also is a pair of snips. These are gonna do your fine detail cutting on your hand cutting. It's also gonna help if you have little glues that you need to trim or any trimming you need to do after the bouquet is coming together as well. And this is helpful to poke little holes in different areas of your flowers and your billy balls. You're gonna want the most important tool of all, your magical glue gun. This is a Sure Bonder fine detailed tip glue gun. They make a bunch of different kinds, but make sure you get the detailed tip. That way it doesn't shoot out a ton of glue and you can kind of control it a little bit more. I also only use Sure Bonder glue sticks, mostly because I've tried other glue stick brands, like cheaper ones and whatnot, but they get jammed in the gun or they don't feed properly, and it's just best to use what was made for your gun. Have extra glue sticks around as well. You're gonna want an iron, because this is how we're going to adhere. Actually, I'll turn mine on right now. That's how you're going to adhere your stencils to your felt. So let's go ahead and move on to that step and start getting everything prepped to hand cut. First things first is you're gonna wanna get a heat safe surface to iron on. So I use another piece of large felt. You can use whatever you want. This is just super easy for me to access really quickly, so it's perfect. for hand cutting, you're gonna get all of your freezer paper stencils. I've already gone ahead and cut out this daisy shape a little bit smaller, but you can even just lay down that whole portion on your white felt and that's fine too. But for the sake of the video, I'm just gonna do one right now. And then you'll kind of just get the gist and then go ahead and cut out all the different pieces. Also in the instructions and on the actual stencils, it does tell you which color it goes on. I also offer different color choices on my shop. So if you do change up the colors, just know I'm always gonna just be referencing the original colors. There's a shiny side, which is kind of has a wax surface, and then a flat matte side. So I'm printing the flat matte side, the stencil, and then I'm just laying down the shiny side down on my felt. I'm gonna grab my iron, and this is at the high cotton setting. Just go ahead and put a little bit of pressure and just kind of melt that wax, and it just sticks perfectly onto your felt. Voila, magic stencils. I also turn off the steam on here. If you're cutting out a bunch of them, like if you glued on all 10 of these daisies at once, I shouldn't say glued, ironed on all 10 of these at once, I would trim them down at this point and only cut out one at a time. And that's just because the more you sit here and bend and twist your felt as you're moving it, it can cause these freezer paper stencils to slowly start to lift, and then you're just cinching more down and wasting time. So go ahead and just cut them out individually. Plus, cutting them out with less scraps and debris around you will be super helpful. Since this is a smaller flower, I'm actually gonna use my smaller detailed scissors. And these ones are my favorite. They're by Fiskars, and I'll leave a link below too if you wanna get these ones. But we're just gonna start and slowly cut this out. And that's what I love about freezer paper stencils too, is that you can easily just follow the lines. It takes out so much of the guesswork and really just the thinking about everything. You can sit there and set up all your stencils, go turn on a movie and watch it while you're just sitting there and cutting. And I find this part super relaxing. I used to do this while I was picking my kids up at the school drop-off or at soccer practice. I would just take a bag of stuff to just hand cut, and I would just sit there and cut while my kids were practicing. So I got that all cut out, and then once you're done, you just simply pull off the stencil. I also have another tutorial and another video on how to print on freezer paper. So if you wanted to either create your own stencils, or I sell all of these stencils by themselves at my shop, and you can go ahead and start printing them from home and just making more and more flowers. So now we're gonna go ahead and make sure you cut out all the pieces. This bouquet has quite a few different pieces, so take your time and get them all cut out. Just remember too that these are flowers and they come from nature and they're not perfect, so nor should you give yourself a hard time if you're not cutting perfect. Take your time, and if there's errors and flaws, that's okay, because please show me any flower in nature that's perfect. So it just makes it more authentic and unique and perfect when you say, I made that. So let's gather all of our pieces and let's start assembling some of these flowers. We're cutting out 10 of these daisies total. We're gonna do 24 of these hydrangea petals, 8 of these chrysanthemum petals, 2 of these hydrangea leaf petals, and 6 of these long leaves. These are just gonna be our accent leaves that just kind of tie everything together in the edges. So once that's done, we're gonna go ahead and start with our chrysanthemum first. For the chrysanthemum, we actually need 7.5. So I've already have 1/2 already cut, so I'm gonna get rid of 1. So you will have an extra half when you're done with this project. So when I cut these, for instance, so this is a perfect example. This one got a little nipped off, so I mean, I can literally just come back and just round off a corner. Super easy peasy. Next thing we need to do is get your almond felt ball and our glue gun ready. So we're gonna take one of our flowers, and we're literally going to cut out the center circle. Just like so. It does not have to be a perfect center. It's literally just gonna go on our ball to cover it. So if you can see, That's where I got my other half from, cutting out another center. So it's just the petals left on there. We're gonna grab this and we're gonna just put a little squiggly circle of glue and glue this on. It doesn't matter where on your felt ball because wherever you put it, that's gonna be your center. All right, so now we're gonna go these and we're gonna cut out each petal here. So we should have 12 little petals after we cut them out. We're gonna do 2 layers of 6. So we're gonna grab 1 petal here, put a little piece of glue right down the center line. Go ahead, put that right here, and just glue it all the way around the ball. And this is what's dictating the center of your whole flower. I'm gonna turn it, and then easiest way to do is to turn it, and we're gonna mirror and put this one right across from it. So we're gonna leave just a little hole in the center. We're gonna glue it in the exact same spot. A little line of glue, and directly across, and then fold down. So that's your first 2 petals. Next, we're gonna put, whoops, we're rolling away. We're gonna put 1 here and 1 here. So if you need to kind of like put, like dry fit them on, that's a different kind of term, but like hold them on so you can see the placement so you have an idea before you actually put glue on, that is definitely helpful, especially on the first time. Put that on, and then put that basically in the exact same spot that you practice putting it on. And the same thing on the next to it, right here. Glue it all the way around. And then we're gonna do the exact same thing on the other side. So now that you have this, you can literally go straight across from this one, and then you're gonna put another petal there. If that kind of helps your brain to like line things up well. Throw that down. And glue. And the last one for this layer. So we're gonna do 2 layers of 6. And that one's gonna go right in that hole. Just like that. So this is your first layer. And then now we're gonna do a second layer. For the second layer, we're gonna go right in between. So we're not gonna go perfectly on top and split them in half. We're gonna actually peek it down a little bit so that it's not all the way at the top. We're gonna start it here-ish. Just a hair down. And we're gonna go right in between all of the petals, just a little bit down. So we're gonna keep going around, splitting our 2 petals and going a little bit lower. So this is layer 2, so 6 petals on each layer. Then almost done, almost done. This is the part that just keeps going. So the other hydrangea, that one's a little tedious too because it's just like super repetitive and over again, but it's fun. Okay, so this is our base centerpiece. All right, so here is our little center. Little nugget. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and get another one of our petals. And we're gonna go ahead and glue just a teensy bit inside the petal and all the way around. Put a little in the middle. See if you can see where my glue is. We're gonna plop this guy right smack in the middle and put it right in the middle of our hand, and I just kind of cup it and bring it up, and that just brings the petals up. I even do this sometimes just to kind of have the glue contact and bring these up. Like so. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and actually put this aside. We're gonna get one of our 18 gauge wires, our pliers, and then this is the tricky part here because we're actually gonna make like a little spiral snail. So I grab the end with my pliers and twist all the way around to make this loop-de-loop. And then grab it and keep spiraling it. It's a smaller flower, so you don't need too much of a base, but this is actually what's gonna be supporting the flower as it's standing up. So as you can see, like, it's not gonna support it going up and down, so we need to turn it sideways, like so. And then I angle it down, smash and turn. So I'm making a table, like so. So just a little table that the flower is gonna sit on. So we're gonna grab another petal, and this is where the handy dandy awl comes in, and you just poke a hole right in the middle of it. And then that's gonna allow our wire to go straight through it. Like so. All right, so we're gonna put that aside now. So now we need 4 more petals, which are right here. And then we're gonna go ahead and put a little bit of glue in the middle and literally just fold. And we're not gonna fold perfectly because you don't want them to we don't want them to line up. We wanna turn it so that when we fold, it kind of fans them out and we get almost all, you can see all of the petals. So you can do 1 fold, and then you're gonna put a little bit more glue right here, and then you're gonna do another fold. And I like to pinch really hard at the bottom here. That way it just really fans it out and fluffs it up. Because if you pinch it there, then it just gets really flat. If you pinch it at the bottom, it kind of just opens it up. So we're gonna do that on all 4 petals, and make sure you hold it down tight until that glue kind of sets. So I do that one, and then when I fold it the second time, that's when I really, really hold it to make sure both layers of glue are really, really set. Do that 4 times. That one was not set. Starting to open. And this is where you use your handy dandy other fingers to hold things down because you're too impatient to wait, which is me. Very impatient. I'm gonna throw that one there. This is all of my crazy years of practicing of doing this. So I'm actually gonna drop that one's good. Throw him there. I also use little clips every once in a while, just little sewing clips. So I'll just clip it, throw it aside, and we don't have to wait for it to dry and set. We're gonna get rid of all of these glue strings, which are so annoying. God, I love spider webs. You can actually go a lot slower with your glue gun and twist it a bunch, and you can really remove those spider webs as you're gluing. But like I said, that takes way too much time and I'm really impatient. So I don't do that. I just pull all the spider webs off at the end. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and grab our flower base again, our glue gun, and we're gonna go ahead and do a big wide circle and glue on the top. All there. We're gonna grab our quartered petals and we're gonna literally just put them on top here. We're gonna try to split the petals again so they're not perfectly lined up, because the point is you want to see all your petals. And imagine this is like pizza slices. You're just throwing the pizza slices back on, like so. And I'm just putting my finger in the middle to push it down against that bottom wire, just so everything adheres really, really well. Okay. So you have this piece. Goes like this. And this would be fun for a bunch of different flowers. If you wanted to go crazy and do something different, you can use the same folding technique and just put a little center. You can put a little ball right there and call it good. You can do lots of different fun things with this. But for this flower, we're gonna take back this center and put it right in the middle. Okay, so we're gonna just go ahead and plop some glue there. Plop this guy, and I kind of turn him so that way the petals kind of shift a little bit. Get rid of some glue. And then again, I put my hand so I'm putting resistance on that bottom wire and push down at the same time, so that way I'm getting really, really good contact. That's good. And there you have it, guys. Here is your chrysanthemum. Let's go ahead and start our next flower, which will be our little mini daisies. You're gonna grab your 10 daisy petals, and then we're gonna go ahead and grab our wire too. So for these ones, you're gonna need 2 of your 22 gauge wires and then 4 of your 5-inch 22 gauge wires. So we're gonna make 2 small little clusters. So I like to prep my wire first so it's just ready to go. So we're gonna make that same exact table that we made on the chrysanthemum, but we're gonna do it on here too. But we're gonna make that table significantly smaller because this flower is significantly smaller. So we made our little twist. We're gonna fold it sideways, make our table and smash it up. So we're gonna make a tiny little table. And so we're gonna do that once on both of our longer wires. And then we're only gonna do it on one side of our 5-inch wires. We're actually gonna do both sides, but we're gonna do one side at a time. And I'll tell you why in a second. So I'm gonna only make 1 cluster right now, but when you're doing it, you're gonna make 2 clusters. So I'm gonna go ahead and only get 5 petals out here. Okay, so next step is you're going to grab your scissors and your petals, and we're actually gonna cut these petals a little bit more in. We're not going all the way to the center, we're only going a little bit. So if that's your center, where's my awl? If this is your center-ish, we're going about a little bit in. So not all the way to the center. So we're gonna go ahead and trim all of these all the way around. Okay, so I kind of jumped ahead over here, but I'm sandwiching 2 petals together. You can do 1 at a time if you feel more confident with that, but I'm doing 2 because again, I'm impatient. Okay. So we're gonna cut a little bit in. I'm not going all the way in. So if that's your center point, that's how far I'm going in. And we're gonna cut each petal a little bit inside here. And it's just making our petals a little bit longer for when we go down to glue them. Okay, so just like that. So then we're gonna get our awl again and poke a hole straight in the middle. If you don't have an awl, you can use your scissors and just kind of stab it through too. Just be really careful. You're gonna take that 5-inch wire that we made 1 table on, slide 2 petals in on the 5-inch one, and then we're gonna make another table on this side. And this is what's kind of locking the petals in, and that's exactly why you can only do 1 at a time, because if you did both, then you can't get your petals on anymore. So I went ahead and did it to both of these, and then I put 1 petal on the longer one. So this one, we're only doing 1 table because this is the top main flower, and then nothing on the bottom. So just those 2 5-inches. So we're gonna I'm gonna grab 3 of them right now, but we're actually going to cut these in half. Just because this flower is so small and this ball would be really, really large popping off, we're gonna cut this in half and make it more kind of inside the ball. So be careful because I'm putting my fingers on both sides and holding the ball and the scissors. Just lining them up as centered as I can and just cut that little bad boy in half. I didn't do it perfect, like one's a little bit taller than the other, but again, we're in nature and flowers are all different and that is okay. So give yourself a break. So I'm gonna cut these and then you're gonna save 5 of these for one side and 5 of these for the other cluster. Oops. So I'm gonna put that one aside. So I've got 5 little half balls. Let's go ahead and take this one first, and we're gonna actually put a little bit of glue right on our little table. Grab one of our half circles, plop it right on top. Isn't he so cute? But we're gonna make it cuter. How I hold is I put one hand underneath and put my thumb here. We're gonna put a little bit of glue right underneath the ball, but next to the daisy petal, and we're just gonna pinch that petal until it kind of adheres. You gotta set that glue right there. And then we're just gonna work our way around the flower and do this with every petal. Now with my impatient heart, this part kills me because I'm literally just sitting here holding it. So I hope you're having a wonderful day. And I hope that you're having so much fun making felt flowers, because this brings me joy. Flowers bring me joy. Waiting and holding and feeling like I'm doing nothing, not so much. But this is the great part where you can turn a movie on. Turn on an Audible, because we're gonna be doing this for a while. I'm gonna go ahead and glue these, and then I'm gonna do the exact same thing on these ones, and then we'll come back to it when I'm done, and I'll show you how to assemble it. So let me do this one so you can see one final daisy. And these just remind me of the like little sweet wild daisies that you would just find in a field. There you go. So that's what this one looks like. Get all of our glues off. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this 4 more times on these pieces. And then I'll be right back and I'll show you how I assemble. Okay, so I've got one long flower stem here with our daisy, and then I've got 2 double-sided. So these started out at 5 inches, but they kind of shrink because of the little tabletops. So these are all glued down and cinched down here. So how I like to attach them is I'm actually holding these together. They don't have to be perfectly lined up, and in fact, if they're not, it's even better. And then we're gonna wrap these around at the exact same time. It just makes them more level and more of a cluster than it does if they wrapped them individually. But if you wanna wrap one at a time, that's fine too. Okay, so I'm gonna put a lot of pressure. Like, I'm holding this down really tight right here. I'm just twisting, and I'm wanting to make this a really, really tight twist. And the reason for that is you want it to really be secure on there, and you don't want it wiggling or falling down. So I've got that on, and I mean, I made it really tight. It's not moving at all. Okay, so then on this one, we're just gonna, after they're twisted on here, and they're so tight, these things are not moving at all. We're just gonna bring up our wires and make a little cluster here. See, I'm gonna put this one over here. And that's the joy of wire, is that they can be moved and adjusted as many times as you want to get them into the perfect spot, like so. So you're gonna make 2 clusters together for this little bouquet. So repeat all of that steps one more time. Next thing we're gonna build is the hydrangea stem. So this is the one that is a little bit tedious. So we're gonna take all 24 of these. This is only 8 of them because I'm just gonna show you a few times and then I'm gonna assemble it for you. But it's the exact same steps. So you're gonna grab 12 more of your 5-inch long 22 gauge wires. So when we bend these wires to hold onto these petals, it is not nearly as hard or complicated as all the other wire bending. This one, we're literally taking it and doing one loop. I'm gonna pinch that a little, that's it. Just a little loop-de-loop. And this is just giving something a little bit bigger for the flower to hold on to. So in the hand cut kit, they're not gonna come with these little holes in the middle. So you're either gonna need to take your awl and stab a hole through each one of these, and then do the exact same thing like the other flower, where you only cinch one side at a time, fish 2 flower petals through, and then do it again on your other side. Now, if you have the hand cut or the pre-cut kit, where all these are already cut out for you, they actually come with little holes in the middle already. Some are a little stuck, but you poke your scissors through or your awl through and the little holes will pop out. So in that case, you can actually fish, they're big enough where you can fish this little loop-de-loop through, so you could technically loop all of your wires ahead of time. But we'll just fish both through and then I'll loop it on the other side. like so. So you're gonna do that with all of your flower. 2 petals on 12 different stems. So like I was saying, like these, the hole's already there, it's already looped. It's not difficult to fish these through like that. Do one at a time, fish that one through, and then fish this one through. Okay, so you're gonna do that 12 times. So you should have 12 of these wires with 2 petals on them each. All right, so for the top petal, for this one, we're gonna line up this wire on this one, pick one petal, line it up right in the middle, and we're gonna go ahead and put a little bit of glue right in between it. We're gonna fold this in half and just pinch it closed and let that glue set. Okay, we're gonna grab, now you have 3 petals left. You can now do this 1 petal at a time, which is how I'm gonna show you, and then I'll show you how I normally do it just to speed things up. So you're gonna do it again, pinch, and go all the way around, all 4 petals on all of them. And since I'm impatient, like this time I glued 2, I'm gonna fold this one, and then do it together. And it's just gonna make this little pinched little petal pod for your hydrangea. But hydrangeas have tons of petals in their little head there, so you gotta do it a bunch. So now we're gonna do it again, and then this is how I do it normally, but I'll put glue all the way around. So a little half circle and then a little dot right there. I'll pinch this side, and then I use my 2 fingers to slowly pinch these ones until you get that same look. But I glue it all at once just to save a little bit of time. So you're gonna go ahead and repeat this 12 full times until you have 12 of these long pieces of petals. So you have 24 flower heads total and 12 stems ready to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish these and then show you how to assemble it once you've glued them all together. Okay, so now we have 12 of these stems, 24 petals, and we're going to attach them to make a hydrangea now. So we need to get one of our 18 gauge wires ready to go, and then all of our petals. So this part, we're gonna just literally line them up on my hand, and I am cinching them together and holding them. Sometimes they like to pop away, but just put a good grip on this. And we're literally just creating a cluster here. And getting rid of more spider webs because they are the worst. This reminds me of that game, pick up sticks, when you all fall and you gotta pick up your sticks. Sorry, random. Anyways, we're gonna bunch these all together like so. So you have 2 bunches on each side. Grab your 18 gauge wire. And we're gonna go ahead and put this down like, I don't know, 1.5 inches, 2 inches. We're gonna actually wrap this wire around. So we're gonna use both sides and try to do this as tight as you can. The 18 gauge wire is pretty stiff, so it's a little bit harder to bend, but just try to really wrap it around real tight. And then we've got this little tail here, and that I'm just gonna actually wrap around here, so there's kind of like a squiggly action going on here. And it just kind of tidies that up a little bit and holds it back down, like so. So if this isn't super tight and your flowers are wobbly, that's okay, because I've got a fix for that. But now we're just gonna take our 2 flowers, bunch sides, and roll them right up. So this is the fun part too. So see how they're all, they get all wobbly. So don't even worry about that. I'll show you how I fix that. So now we're gonna go ahead and hold them tight, and now we're just gonna arrange them and bend all of our wires and create a happy little bunch, as Bob Ross would say. I kind of leave some holes every once in a while or whatever. I mean, you can mess and mess with this for days. And of course, we picked the same day that our neighbors decided to do some construction on their house. So if you hear hammering in the background, sorry. Okay, so I just sit there and fussed and fussed. So it's a little solid now, but it will get a little flopsy. So what I do is I don't drop it. I mean, you can't drop it, it's felt. It's not gonna hurt it. But I turn it upside down. Oops, I'll turn it this way so you can see. And I just actually put a little bit of glue around the bottom wires and kind of glue the support wire to the main wire. And there you go. And if you don't touch it, oops, I'll put it this way. If you don't touch it and leave it alone, that glue, hot glue, will stay nice and clear and firm up and hold everything together. If you start touching it, it'll turn white and get yucky. So I just leave it like that. And then what I'll do is I'll set it upside down. Like I said, don't drop it. Now I'm sitting here putting it upside down and kind of line it up and let it just dry like this and let all of that bunch glue set, and it holds it all together. So that's my little quirky hack. So I'm gonna set that aside over here just to keep it all together. We're gonna grab our 2 hydrangea leaves, grab one of our smaller what is this? I don't know, 2.5 inch wires. We're gonna cut we're not gonna cut the leaves are cut. We're gonna glue down our leaves. The hammering is getting to me now. I'm gonna trim those a little bit. We're gonna put a little bit of glue here. We're gonna cinch this down and hold that tight until this sets. And then do the same thing right here. Just like so. Pop that guy back up. And if you get a little messy with your glue right here, just take your scissors and trim it right off. I got a little bit coming out the edge, like so. So you have a leaf, or 2 leaves on 1 wire. So this guy is set now. So if you see, he's like way more solid. He's not flopping around and nothing's moving. But we're gonna put this around him. So I'm gonna hold really tight here. Similar how we did the daisy, we're gonna do the exact same thing, but this is obviously 1 wire, not 2. We're gonna wrap him around a few times, so keeping him nice and tight so he's not going anywhere. Just fluff him up, like so. And now you have a happy little hydrangea bush, or plant, or stem. It's a happy hydrangea stem. Okay. We have one more thing to do to finish up this bouquet, and it's literally just our support leaf stems, which is by far the easiest step. So of course we saved the easiest for last. So you're gonna go ahead and grab your 6 long leaf stems and 2 of your longer 22 gauge wires. And then you're also gonna need 2 more of your short 2.5 wires. And this is all 22 gauge wire, so it's a little bit thinner. The thicker the gauge, the smaller the number. So think about it going in like an opposite scale, which is actually kind of annoying. So 22 gauge is getting smaller, 18 gauge is actually getting thicker. Like 16 gauge is getting even thicker and thicker and thicker as you go down to the smaller numbers. So just always think opposite, which is kind of annoying. Okay, so we're gonna grab 1 leaf and we're gonna glue these exactly the same way as we did the hydrangea leaves. And we're gonna just put some at the edge and pinch closed. We're gonna do that on both of our long ones, on one side, like so. And that one I definitely felt the glue come out. But I have no fingertips. Been doing this for a while. My fingers are very well accustomed to glue. So now we're gonna take our smaller wire, glue in the exact same spot, and we're gonna do the same thing on the hydrangea and do 1 leaf on each side. So these technically, I mean, there's not really a top and a bottom. I'm using the thicker bottom versus the thinner side, but I mean, if you use this side, it's still gonna be a leaf. Still the same. I'm gonna do this twice. And then we can get to the really, really fun part, which is just arranging everything. And then pinch it, clip it, and do all the things that make the flowers. Okay, there we go. Just like so. All right, I'm gonna take one long leaf, one short leaf, press really, really hard, exact same thing that we did with the daisies and the hydrangea, and we're gonna wrap this around a few times to get it nice and secure. We're gonna do this 2 times. And then we're almost done, and then you can pat yourself on the back because you just made a beautiful flower arrangement all by yourself. Okay, there you go. These are our 2 little support leaf stems. Okay, so I'm gonna put these aside. Last is our 2 little billy balls. We're gonna grab 2 more pieces of wire. Gonna grab our awl, stab our billy ball right in the middle. Be very careful not to stab your fingers. Only the ball. I kind of wiggle it around to just kind of open up a little bit of hole right here. Throw some glue inside. I put too much glue inside and it's coming out, but that's okay. And I'm gonna just push the wire right in. Don't touch the glue. If you touch the glue, it'll start turning white. If you leave it alone, it'll just dry clear. All right, there it is. Just like that. And then do it one more time. And then we can arrange. Whoops, I'm getting crazy. Okay, 2 billy balls. All right, I'm gonna bring everything in and we're gonna arrange it into our bouquet. So we've got 2 billy balls, 2 leaves, 1 hydrangea, 1 chrysanthemum, 2 daisy clusters, and that is it. So we got our handy dandy base. Whenever I'm arranging, I like to start with my leaves first. And these ones, I'm just gonna fold down. And then after you're done arranging, feel free to like walk in here again and just like trim things down, make things shorter, however you want. We're gonna take our next bigger flower, put in our chrysanthemum, throw in our daisy right in front, and 1 in the back. That way you can just have this kind of like rotating, and there's no front, there's no back, you can move it around. And then we're gonna put these guys right in the middle. So this is the part where you can look like these leaves are way too long. So I'm actually gonna take them out and trim them with my wire cutters and just cut off just a little bit. And this is the good part about wire. Feel free to move it around, bend them, move them, like move the leaves around. Like these billy balls, I don't like it when they're straight. I like to sit there and bend them like crazy different ways and just make them more organic and less perfect, because the less perfect they are, the more organic it feels and the prettier it feels. So there you go. There is your pretty little bouquet. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you have any questions on anything that I made today. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you know when new tutorials are coming out. Also, all of the shop links are below so that you can buy your own kit. You are not limited to these colors, so if you wanted to change the colors, go right ahead. I also sell felt sheets and felt balls, so you can totally make this as many times as you want and change up the colors all you want. Also, all of the links to all the supplies I used are below, so if you need help finding your handy dandy pliers, glue guns, anything like that, all linked below. And if you want to see anything specific, any kits that you want to see made, or just learn how to do any specific products, go ahead and comment below and let me know, and I'll be sure to add that to my lengthy list of all the ideas that I've got planned for you. So yeah, ask me any questions, I would love to help, and I can't wait to show you more tutorials. And thanks so much for joining me today. Bye.